The housing estate described in this film was the redevelopment of a site near the summit of Tulse Hill, South London, breaking onto and overlooking Brockwell Park, with views extending over the city. At first called the Tulse Hill Redevelopment Area, we renamed it Cressingham Gardens, after Mercy Cressingham, who owned the land from 1806. The most notable features of the site are the large numbers of fine established trees, the grass plateau, and its relationship to Brockwell Park. These features, taken together, give it a rare quality of fine landscape, which we sympathetically exploited in preparing the overall layout. We arranged the buildings around this in such a way that the lower buildings are adjacent to the park, with the height increasing to a maximum of 4 stories around the perimeter of the site. We retained many of the existing trees and designed our scheme around them, reinforced by new planting. We had excellent landscape architects. We all worked together, and every effort was made to retain the character of the quality of this landscape setting. Interesting glimpses of the views towards the park are obtainable from many points between the buildings and from the upper floors of the perimeter dwellings. Access to the dwellings is entirely pedestrian, with vehicles kept to the perimeter of the site and garages provided under the higher blocks. A tongue of landscape ground extends from the northern end of the plateau out to Tulse Hill Main Road. Through this landscaped tongue, we threaded a pedestrian way leading between 1- and 2-story homes to access Brockwell Park. At the heart of the estate, we located the Rotonda, a timber frame and brick community space for children. This particular space was important because we were building community. We didn't look at Cressingham Gardens in terms of lots of houses. Rather, we thought of things in terms of the functions of a community. With empathy, we thought of future residents, both those moving in after completion and those 50 years later. We thought of safety and sightlines, watching the children play in the gardens from the house. We thought of how many steps people can carry their shopping without a lift. Our design is anti-monumental, anti-stylistic, and fit for ordinary people. We didn't want to design an atmosphere where people felt herded together, but to create a sense of smallness inside the bigness of the city. And in designing it, we wanted the people to be involved. We wanted them to complain, to argue, to come rushing down the town hall every time they had legitimate grouse. It wasn't a done thing to go out and talk to people, but we did. We had public meetings in the pub, where we could have a drink with the local people and discuss the project we were designing, so that people knew what was happening. The housing we designed caters for all, with 1-bedroom bungalows, 1-bedroom flats, and houses of 2 and 4 bedrooms. We carefully arranged these blocks into the landscape so that nearly all of the homes have a view of the grass, trees, and through the park. Blocks are offset to create a sense of townscape, offering the community informal spaces as well as the formal walks and ways, extending the park character into the estate. Cressingham Gardens derives its qualities from the humane ideals of William Morris, a quality of architecture for the people, for ordinary people, by architects who wanted to make a better world, who worked for a council who wanted to do the most wonderful things. A lot of post-war housing was dull and repetitive, but we drew from William Morris' arts and crafts ideas, fused them with the modernity. We drew from Gropius and his idea of social purpose, from housing as a social dimension more than a sculptural thing, and from Alvar Aalto and Northern European approaches to harmonizing housing and landscape. In post-war London, there was a technique of clearing vast areas of housing and building anew. We just felt that to be absolutely wrong, that one should remove where it was essential. but should be able to develop new with the old. We thought that the idea of growth working with a given place was more appealing than the idea of vast tracts of sudden new eruption. Our buildings did create change, but which still contained the idea of the past, which wasn't reactionary, but which was survival. And what is human life about? It's about survival and change and adaptation, and that sort of architecture, it seems, is absolutely the right thing. It is that human endeavor of adapting, not fundamentally altering, but adapting from what the past leaves to us. This was all before Margaret Thatcher and the beginnings of the separation between those who own their homes and those in social housing, and before the reduction in money to local authorities, leading to a reduction of maintenance and repair of council estates. Architecture starkly mirrors the society it serves and which creates it, and we see that the decline of Lambeth Council is a horrifying story. It's terribly sad that it could have been, that it became like that. It was full of such promise. But there it is. That's the nature of our democratic politics. When we came here, we thought, my God, it's wonderful. It was like a fairy tale, so beautiful. We have friendly neighbors. It's peaceful, quiet, and there's easy access to the park and station. We keep bumping into people we know to stop for a quick chat. It's a beautiful place to live, and so friendly. How much nicer can you get at the end of a long working day than to go out and sit out on the grass? So peaceful. We have a real sense of belonging here. We have a gardening club, and we look after the communal areas. We grow plants and vegetables. We have a shared composting bin, and when it's good sunshine, we always get together. I guess it's like a small village, but a village where everyone gets on. The crime levels here are well below the nearby estates. We feel safe. We can leave doors open and let the kids play outside. You don't get that often in London. There's a kind of natural surveillance. We keep an eye out for each other. When a neighbor falls ill, we notice them missing and go to check on them. We notice if there's someone we don't know hanging around. It's also because we're in small blocks and with space for everybody, with all the grass and quiet. It helps to keep down the temperature and stress. When elderly neighbors struggle with their shopping, we can help and get it for them. And in return, they look after our children if we are late home from work. It's what a community does. It's what this place creates. It's really just a village-like atmosphere. We belong to a neighborhood. It's a nice welcoming feel. There's over 40 countries in this block. We can share food from all around the world. Jamaica, Ireland, Portugal, England, Nigeria, Italy. Some of us rent, some are council tenants, some own our own home. It's a real mix, and each area has its own community. You have the bungalows, then the bigger houses, then the walks. We all have our own little groups, and we know each other. We trust each other. With light, airy, high ceilings, full of daylight, with the skylights, lovely views, front, back, and side, lovely gardens. These are just the best homes we have ever had. The trees are beautiful, but the council never properly maintained them. They should have been pruned and managed. The roots can affect the foundations and break the drains. It's what has caused some of the structural cracks and pooling of water. Some of the trees shed flowers and buds which block the gutters, but these can all be managed and should be, but they don't. When the council did inspections into the estate, their own structural report said the problems were down to the lack of ongoing maintenance, and they reported poor work to some of the repairs they had carried out, that the council's upkeep of the buildings was an ongoing problem. It's obvious that the failing zinc roofs and guttering needs replacing, but the reports make clear that the non-structural and drainage issues have been caused by poor tree maintenance over the years. The reports have gone back decades, stating the need for repairs, but nothing has ever been done. It's all built up without the regular care. The council just take too long. It's like the whole estate is managed by people who don't have the skills, they don't understand the buildings, trees and plants. We pay a lot of money in service charges, but they just don't look after the place. And we are fed up asking them for things to be done, so sometimes we just do the repairs ourselves. Once a year, we have an action day where we come together to mend things. We did over 70 repairs last year and removed some of the trees which were growing under our houses. There was a point about 10 years ago where it seems the council just decided they wanted to demolish Cressingham Gardens, and we think that is when they just stopped repairing the buildings and carrying out maintenance, like they just wanted it to decline, to help their story of decay. Then, because they stopped repairs, some of us got damp and cracks, and then a year later, they said that because of this damp and these cracks, it needed to all be demolished and regenerated. It was pretty shocking when we heard they wanted to regenerate our estate. It seemed crazy that they want to get rid of it. It's only been here 50 years. We just don't understand why they would want to knock all this down and promise to make one of the greenest estates in London, when it already is. And their proposed development would be of such density it will rise high above the tree line and destroy the sense of country in town, which is such an important quality of both the estate and the park. But they just want it gone and get us out of the way so they can build new park view homes that people in this area can't afford. This part of London is one of the most deprived areas of the country. They just want us out and richer people in. It's social cleansing. The council say that after demolition and rebuilding, they would rent us a new flat, but for £2,000 a month. And if one of us owns a 2-bed house now, the council would only pay us £300,000, but their new 2-bed flat here would cost over £600,000. These are the kinds of prices that people pay in Knightsbridge, and the council want to build them here for the rich. We'd have to leave the area, the community. Many of us would be evicted from London, with financial ruin. They're just putting money before people. It's privatization by the back door and simple council-led property speculation. They are telling people they will start demolishing it all soon, but it feels as if they are just saying this to scare people into moving and break our community. Either way, there's a constant apprehension at the back of our minds. People have moved off the estate because they can't take the pressure, and a lot of people need to make sure their children's school isn't interrupted. If they destroy the estate, we'd all get split up, and you can never replace a community. We'd have to start all over again. Some of us have spent 35 years or more building up relationships. You can't bring that back. So together, we made a people's plan. It offers a viable alternative to the council's wish to demolish Cressingham Gardens and would properly repair all the houses we live in now. It would help us restore the estate back to the original vision and keep our community. We would do a green retrofit to passive house standard, carry out no unnecessary demolition, and retain the heritage, architecture, and atmosphere. We don't need the car parks, so we have talked about converting them to create over 30 new affordable homes, or a daycare center, or a gymnasium. We'd love to fix up the rotunda, run it to generate some income to help with repairs. We have other ideas to improve the place. We have talked about starting an urban market where we can sell the fruit and vegetables we grow, or starting a community cafe. We want to do things, but the council has demonstrated a complete bias in favor of demolition, totally failed to explore options for refurbishment with us. We just want the council to let us decide our own future, ask us if we want to stay, or if we want them to demolish our homes, but they won't, because they know the answer, and so we just don't trust them. It takes a huge effort to extract any accurate information from the authorities. It's like dealing with jelly, and they keep us in the dark. It's a Kafkaesque nightmare trying to find out what's going on. We want transparency, but they won't listen to us. They don't. We know about the common problems of damp and condensation, blocked drains, localized flooding, problems with plumbing, as well as the need for new roofs across the estate. We genuinely believe that we can improve the quality of life for residents on Cressingham Gardens. We need to find a solution which is best for the whole estate, and simple refurbishment is not the answer. We, the Council, have therefore undertaken preparatory work on developing an estate regeneration program, and we will focus on improving the quality of housing on this challenging estate. Where possible, we can then reinvest in the local area so we can aim to improve the quality of the environment and the quality of life for local residents. We do not consider refurbishment to be in accordance with our council policies, and so redevelopment of the Cressingham Gardens means we will demolish all existing properties and replace them with new homes. Funding for council homes has been substantially reduced by the government, so we face a choice of doing nothing for the estate or rebuilding it. We are aware of the people's plan which the residents have designed, and it contains many ideas. Ultimately, however, the people's plan is a proposal for refurbishment of the estate with extras. In contrast, our demolition and redevelopment plan has much more scope. Demolition and regeneration is the only viable and affordable option for Cressingham Gardens. We want to rebuild the estate to create homes and communities that will thrive for many years to come. We want to protect the local environment and make this the greenest estate in London. The new landscape design will provide an attractive and green setting for the new homes that offers a combination of improved public realm, amenity and biodiversity. And our redevelopment of the estate will seek to embrace the existing architectural character. Budget cuts means that the communities are more important than ever, and we praise the residents for theirs, and we sympathize that people's homes will be demolished. But we have the potential to provide residents with modern homes which meet their needs in cohesive and healthy neighborhoods. And so, we, the Council, authorize the demolition of the entire Cressingham Gardens estate and will proceed with redevelopment to procure a development management team to help the Council to work up a master plan for the entire estate and to seek planning consent from the Council for development. We will instruct the chosen management team to work closely with remaining residents in the procurement and formulation of this master plan. We aim to promote mixed and sustainable communities which provide a high quality of life for people of all ages and backgrounds in a safe, cohesive and healthy neighborhood supported by high-quality housing. We want to support the cultural heritage of the area and to build on the distinct sense of place. Residents can play an active role in how their new neighborhoods are designed and managed, ensuring that mistakes of the past are not repeated. We want to build thriving communities and better futures, but there is the sense that residents of Cressingham Gardens are preventing progress.